Hello YouTube, William here. In this video I'll be doing a quick overview of Illustration magazine, which has a feature on the Pokemon trading card game artwork. This is issue number 229 for March 2021. This magazine cost me roughly £30 to buy, which I found pretty expensive considering I was able to buy this Pokemon card game art collection book a few years ago for £5 cheaper at £25. So that's something to keep in mind, that if you want to find this magazine, it might be pretty pricey. One good thing though is that it does come with this calendar for 2021. I'll open it at the end of the video to show some of the illustrations featured in it. Now, being a Japanese magazine, most of it is going to be in kanji and katakana, with very little English, as you can see in the table of contents. That also means that most of the illustrators, their names are in kanji, meaning that if you aren't familiar with their pronunciations, it's going to be hard to follow along in the credits as to which artist drew which artwork. Here at the beginning of the magazine, you get a feature on some of the previous artworks featured in the card game. Then we get a history of some of the older cards. I'm sure everyone's familiar with base set. Then we go through to Neo. I believe that's E series, Diamond and Pearl series, Black and White, XY, Sun and Moon, and finally Sword and Shield. After that, we get an interview from Mitsuhiro Arita. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. For me, it's a shame that I'm not able to speak Japanese because it's quite lengthy, the interview. So if you aren't able to read, you would just have to look at the pictures. I couldn't find a translation of his interview anywhere online. I'll have to check again to see. I found it quite interesting that he's obviously still does traditional illustrations, or rather sketches, in his notebook. Seems like he carries it around with him. Here's a behind the scenes look at the Creatures Inc. their studio, where the artists are actually working. Usually we don't get to see photos of what's actually happening behind the scenes, so this is pretty nice to see. Here we get an overview of one of the cards, the process of one of the cards being illustrated. Here's Raboot by Mizue. Just step-by-step process. I was hoping this card would have been in the magazine, but I didn't see it. I'm not sure if it was taken out, because I know that in the art collection book, there's a similar, we get to see a similar process of one of the cards being how it's illustrated. With this Charizard VMAX, I believe it is. And this card was included, but no luck with Raboot. Here's another interview. I believe this is the current art director at the Pokemon trading card game, Satoru Nagaya. Once again, it's pretty text heavy, so for me it's just a case of looking at the pictures. I'm not exactly sure what these 7 illustrations were done for, because I can't remember seeing these cards. They might be promos, I'm not exactly sure. I found this Pikachu pretty funny. Some nice graphic design. I'm not too familiar with some of the more modern Pokemon, so I'm not unsure who this one is. Yano KG. I like the composition done for this Chikorita. Oh. Here it is actually, you can see I could actually understand the artist names. Ishiguro Ayako. I'll see butchering that. This is the third and last interview featured in this magazine. I believe this was a art contest winner. Over the years, Pokemon card game has had quite a few art competitions. Obviously, most of them are in Japan, but there have been a few in America, and I believe at least one in Europe art competitions. This was the winning illustration. Here are some of I believe this is a quick Q&A with some of the more veteran artists, such as Kagemaru Sao. I find it interesting that Sao uses a pseudonym. I've noticed that with a few Japanese artists, they never actually use their real name if they can help it. Reminder of the times you live in. This Jigglypuff card, that's one of my favorites too. I believe that is one of Kagemaru Himeno's favorite. I believe this is some of their favorite cards. You can see that's one good thing with the magazine. You do get slightly larger scale artwork compared to the card on some of the artworks featured in here. Quite a bit of text. I've actually never seen a picture of Kagemaru, so it's nice to see. I'm kind of glad I got the magazine just for that, even though he's hiding behind a Pikachu costume. I think this is also some of their favorite illustrations by some other artists. I like this picture of Tata and Lisa as well. I found the expressions they have here is quite nice. Obviously just chilling out outside the gym. Is it 20 cards total? Now here's my main issue with the magazine, that it's only roughly 64 pages, the feature on Pokemon cards. After that, it's artwork unrelated to Pokemon. Mainly, I believe it's advertisements for some other art books, or just books in general. Yeah, so roughly half, or a little bit more than half, is featured for Pokemon. Which, as I said, when discussing the price, I found it's a little bit expensive considering how much I paid just to have 64 pages dedicated to Pokemon. But I don't really regret buying the magazine. It's just something to keep note of. This is the extra I was talking about at the beginning. There's a little calendar 2021. I believe this is a Fetchling, Lucario, Squirtle, Pikachu, Charizard, Eevee, Jirachi, Milotic, can never remember the pronunciation, Clefairy, Mimikyu, Ditto, and a Litwick at the end. Some instructions on how to set up the calendar. It's quite fragile, so definitely something if you were more of a display piece, rather than something I'd keep on display. Currently, I've just been keeping all the cards in the piece of plastic that it came with. So would I recommend buying this magazine? I'd say if you could find it at a reasonable price, I would go for it. But if you had to choose between these two, I would definitely go for the card game art collection, but just because of how much more pictures you do get in it, since this is actually dedicated to Pokemon true and true. So hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching.